Hello, everyone. Welcome back to E20 Zone TV. I hope you're having a very, very good Thursday. Easter is fast approaching, bank holiday weekend. To my right is Jay. You know who he is, and we're here to talk about West Ham versus Southampton, the demolition job that I expect West Ham to do this weekend. Will we though? Yeah, we will see about that. Jay, how you doing, man?
I'm good. I'm good. Easter weekend, as you say, I'm going to do my best Jesus impression. I'm going to disappear on Friday and I'm going to come back on Monday. How are you, my friend?
It's going to be good. It's going to be good. Yeah, I'm all right. I'm all right. Obviously, West Ham's just flat at the minute, and it's just everyone's just counting down to the end of the season. But the show must go on, as they say, and there's still previews and afterthoughts to be done. What are you expecting from this one, though?
An absolute masterclass in football terrorism is what I'm expecting. This is going to be the most forgettable game of football that we'll probably see all season. It's an interesting point you raise that you want a demolition job. I think we all want a demolition job. I can't see it, mate. You know me. I never want to come on and be that pessimist and like tell us how shit we are. But being a realist, I expect a very similar performance from the Leicester game. Leicester, we went 2-0 up. We shut up shop. It was exactly what the doctor ordered at the time. A couple of goals, a win, a clean sheet, and it was everything that we needed. I think from Potter's press conferences, you can probably see that he's as frustrated as anyone that it hasn't quite taken off as quickly as we'd hoped. And I think he's probably realised like how big the gap from how good our players are versus how good they need to be actually is. So he's probably realised what a big job there is in the summer to be done. So, yeah, mate, I'm not overly optimistic for the demolition job that you're craving, but I do expect the West Ham win either way. However,
I need to see a performance, mate, where we go through a team and we're clinical in doing so. I think the Leicester performance was more like, yeah, we scored 2 goals. Was they really good goals? Not really. Yeah, and then the second half was just dead. I'm seeing teams go through Southampton, no problem, and I expect West Ham to do the same. I look at us this season. It's been frustrating. Let's be real. Like it's been one of the. I think I said it on the video the other day. It's been one of the worst seasons that I can remember since probably going down to a point. Like it's just been flat. It's been dead. Um, but I do think we need a win because I don't want to see West Ham finish 17th. Jay, that's another thing and all. Something was said the other day on the afterthought. Obviously, you wasn't there because you was in Ireland. But this 17th place finish that we're currently in right now, is that right to say it doesn't matter to finish 17th or not?
it's never that it doesn't matter. I think I'm as disappointed as everyone is that we're currently the worst team that will be in the Premier League next season, as statistics have it.
Yeah.
Which is not acceptable by any stretch of the imagination. I think given it's really hard to make heads or tails of it, to be honest. It's been such a poor season, and we'd been blessed and we had been mollycoddled into thinking that the tough times were behind us and we were forever going to be a top half team and forever going to be fighting for Europe. And we had 3 consecutive nights in Europe. What's really hurting at the moment is seeing all the talk around what's going on in European quarterfinals, and we're not a part of it. And it's horrible, mate. It's absolutely horrible. If we were 17th, but we were gearing up for a massive second leg in Europe, right, I wouldn't be happy with us being 17th, but at least we'd have a silver lining, like the Conference League season. But it's just been horrible, mate. It's not acceptable, but look, we are where we are. I think we've got, like I say, we've got a lot of players we need to move on in the summer, and we've got a lot of areas we need to improve on. If we were 17th this season and then 17th next season, I'd be saying we've got a serious problem at the club. We all know what the serious problem at the club is, and it's one singular man who makes the majority of the decisions at West Ham. That's not going to change anytime soon. So I think I'm just kind of accepting of, look, this is where it is at the moment. Hopefully we can drag ourselves up a couple of places by the end of the year. It'd be our worst finish in more than a decade, I think. Be our worst finish in a long time. So yeah, it just kind of is what it is at this point, mate. I'm hating it as much as everyone else, but we just got to kind of grin and bear it and get through it now.
Think for me, you have to sort of. You still got games to play. You still got to put performances in. Yeah, against Liverpool, I see a Jack on Eye performance from Potter. I see first half where it's a bit like reserved and like going to sort of low block and etc. Second half is a completely different side. Like I don't get why we go from 1 minute we can't attack, and then the next minute we can attack. We're opening teams up at will, and we're thinking, well, why can't you do that for 90 minutes? Do you know what I'm saying? I need to see something from Potter on this one. Yeah, because there is no more excuses now with me. I can't keep going, oh, we've got to wait till the summer. I expect him to destroy Southampton. With the players that we've got, with Kudus, Bowen, Paqueta, all these players that we've got at our disposal, Nicholas Forkrug, like, there's no more, oh, well, you know what, it doesn't matter. Because if we lose this game, I'm gonna be fuming. I'm going to be fuming because you can't be losing this game, and really you can't be drawing this game either. To a point, I don't think even the draw is acceptable, like in the grand scheme of things. So I don't know. What do you make of Southampton, mate?
I mean, look, they are exactly where they deserve to be, aren't they? We're going to get a good chance to have a look at a few players that we're interested in. Is probably one of the one of the few interesting points there's going to be as a game going fan. I'm interested to see Kyle Walker-Peters. He's a guy that I wanted him last back in the summer. We didn't get him, knowing that he's out of contract this summer and will be one of the front runners to try and get his signature. So it'll be interesting to see him. I do rate him as a player. He's probably one of the only players we're linked with from Southampton that I do highly rate. I know there's Tyler Dippin as well, but very, very expensive for what he is. And are we in a position to spend a load of our budget on a young player when we need to spend it on players that are going to come in and impact the first team? Either way, I think he's a good player. I've got a horrible feeling about this Onuachu lad. He's exactly the profile of striker that will score against West Ham and that will cause us problems. He's a big lump. He's physical. And we haven't dealt well with physical strikers this season. So, shout out to Sid in the chat. Ramsdale we're going to get a look at as well. Guarantee drops a worldy performance tomorrow. Or is it tomorrow? No, it's Saturday. It's Thursday. God, Easter weekend. Guarantee drops a worldy performance. And then suddenly the owners and the scouts go, oh, do you know what? This Ramsdale's good for 20 million or something like that. So, yeah, we've seen this script before. Interesting one. They're probably the only players that are worth like shouting out at this stage. I don't really rate anyone else at Southampton. There's a reason they've won 2 games this season. So
Kyle Walker-Peters, I'll be very shocked if he ain't a West Ham player. We've been linked with this geezer for the last 18 months. I think he comes in, they sort at that left hand side by letting Emerson go. Yeah, Emerson goes, Kyle Walker-Peters comes in. And then what it is with Wan-Bissaka and Kyle Walker-Peters, they can both switch sides. So if there's ever an injury, you got cover in both sort of sides of the pitch. Diblin, listen, like, we've seen a handful of games of him. Yeah, let's see what he's like in the season. Like, for anyone, and go from there. Alwa Bellis, not a chance for me. And I'm actually looking forward to seeing where we coped with Bowen and Kudus and all that on Saturday, because if he can't handle them, he ain't going to be able to handle anyone else in the Premier League. So, you know, and then you got Ramsdale, who probably put in a world-class performance, and everyone want to sign him after that. Do you know what I mean? So, I don't know. Southampton, it's a shame with Southampton. I remember Southampton from years ago when they used to have players like Letizier, Berkovic used to play for them before he come to us. And, you know, it's a shame how they've gone. Like, and this is the fear that I have with West Ham, Jay, sort of moving forward, like, and trying to get us back to where we need to be, and that is like a top 10 side. Is that Southampton are a big club and they're a traditional Premier League side, and they're going backwards and forwards like a yo-yo, a bit like Leicester and all. I don't want West Ham to get caught in that sort of trap door, go down, and then we're in that situation.
Yeah, it's an interesting one, isn't it? And you look at the teams that are likely to come up from the Championship, and they're all in a similar position. Burnley are a yo-yo club. Leeds went down, and they look like they're going to come back up again. You've got a couple of other clubs around there that are fighting for the playoffs that are doing the same kind of thing. It's hard league to get out of, and I don't ever want to see West Ham fighting down where we are at the moment, because, like you said, Southampton were doing really. The famous Southampton in Europa song from a number of years back. When Southampton were flying and they were doing really well. They come up the same year as us, didn't they? One slip is all it takes. One slip and you're suddenly a decade of hard work and some great memories that we've had at West Ham. You look back at the 15-16 season, you look back at the last sort of 3 to 4 years, and you go, Jesus Christ, that could all be undone. If there weren't 3 really poor teams in this Premier League, that could have all been completely undone already. So, yeah, this is the last that I want to see of West Ham down here. Hopefully, it will be. I think to like round off maybe the like existential talk about West Ham, I think Potter's, he's got a tough job up for him. I actually give him a lot of credit for what he did against Liverpool. I did see some of the afterthought of you, Lucas, and AD with some different opinions. As you know, I sit more towards the school of thought of Lucas and AD. I actually think Potter deserves some credit for how he approached it. I didn't think the first half performance was anything special, but we had to absorb some. We were gonna take some pain in that first half, and
I get
we
that.
expanded more in the second half, which is what we're going to need to do against the big team. This is going to be a different task where we're going to need to be on top from minute one. So I'm excited to see what he can do in this kind of game.
Yeah, but what you just say there about like the first half at Liverpool and then the second half against Liverpool, it's night and day. Because West Ham in the second half are a completely different side, and that just doesn't make no sense, Jay. It just I can't work that one out. If you're going, I would rather see West Ham on the front foot and trying to have a go at these teams, and they would get more credit for that. Yeah, and it always seems like when Potter's back's firmly against the wall, he chucks all the notes up in the air and goes, right, let's go for it now. And then when West Ham do go for it, and I noticed it in the second half against Liverpool, I really did, is every time West Ham want a foul, ball down, moving the ball fast, consistently, fast, all the time. And where's that as a sort of philosophy? It just doesn't. It seems like he's stuck in two worlds at the minute. On the one hand, he wants to be sort of hard to beat, that boring sort of XG merchant, and on the other side of it, when his back's firmly against the wall, I'm going to say the famous line: he takes the fucking shackles off, and then that's it. It is. He takes the shackles off and go on, play.
I agree. I see what you're saying. Like when we made the subs, like the subs had an impact, and we had to go more expansive. And we got forward. We ended up getting rewarded with the goal, and then we just capitulated at 1-1. But the turnaround, I thought from my observations, I felt like after about 30, 40 minutes, we'd kind of figured it out, and we'd figured out how to defend against them. You had 25 minutes of Salah being Mo Salah. He was an absolute genius. He had Skulls on toast. It was the first time Skulls was playing against a player of that quality, and it showed. Like, it is what it is. But we'd figured him out, and then they showed the touch map for Salah in the second half. We just dealt with him. And this was before we made the actual substitution. Substitution started happening in about an hour. So like we can say that he made the changes at halftime. He didn't actually change anything. I think we'd actually figured them out. We'd figured out how to defend and then how to slowly start to expand more. We had obviously those massive chances. Kudus hits the bar. What a great save from Alisson. Mav misses a clear header from 6 yards. Yeah. We had those chances. So I felt like Potter deserved a little bit more credit than saying it was Jekyll and Hyde in the first half. I see what you're saying, but I thought the turnaround happened before the personnel started to change. I thought Paqueta had a brilliant game. I thought it was absolutely sensational. If we can figure out how to get him in those kind of areas and give him the confidence to dictate the game on Saturday against Southampton, we could see this demolition job that you're looking for. So I just felt like Potter deserved perhaps a little bit more credit.
The only thing I say to that, I know we're having a little bit of a debate about this, and we will move on shortly.
Yeah.
But I do look at this and think, well, what happens when we go 1-0 down then? Well, he's going to have to throw it at it. Like you can't keep going down this route of being reserved at the start, going 1-0 down, then the handbook goes in the air, everything goes in the air, and he goes, right, just play. Because what it proves to me is it isn't really personnel. It's philosophy. Because on the one hand, you've got the philosophy of the first half where he's seeing them out. I see people say about Skulls. I don't agree with Skulls up against Mo Salah. I really don't. I think you're asking a player to come in and try and stop one of the best players in the world. And that's like, even for him, that's being naive. And on the other side of it, I look at the second half performance, and we was unreal in the second half. I got literally, that's the best second half performance I've probably seen under Potter's reign, where we was pushing back a side of world-class players, and we should have got a draw out of that game quite easy. Like, I don't know what you think, Jay.
I thought we were good value for a draw, to be honest. If I felt like we deserved to lose, do you know what? It really hurt at full time to have fought so hard to get back to 1-1 and then throw it away. Like, we just got dominated. As soon as we got back to 1-1, we had no idea. It's like we were shocked that we had equalised at Anfield. We didn't know what to do, and we just got done. The Scarles thing was interesting. I disagree. Like I felt it was the right call to give him a chance to play like away at Anfield where the pressure's off. Effectively, right. He got done. Mo Salah was superb in that first half an hour. He roasted Ollie Scarles. Like it is what it is. He'll learn more from that first 45 minutes than he will from anything else that's happened this season. He's going to have to come up against another world class player at some point. So the fact that he's done it now. I would say it's similar to when Guilherme started that first 45 minutes when he made his first Premier League start. He was nowhere. He had no idea what he was doing. And he came out. And then you look at what he did when he then played next. Suddenly he's gone away and learnt a load. He looks more confident. He looks more assured on the ball. I think Ollie Scarles will be the same. So I don't have an issue with it, mate. I thought after that first 30 minutes, he did pretty well. But the first 30, like he got rings run around.
Yeah, but is that being a bit, not saying you, but is it being naive to everyone to say, right, Scarles comes in, nothing against Scarles, but I'm going to be honest. I have to be honest on this channel. The last 2 games, he hasn't been good. Like, he wasn't good against Bournemouth. He got hooked at half time. He wasn't good against Liverpool. He got hooked on the 60th minute mark. Like, is it being naive to say, right, there you go, there's your opportunity, and then don't give him one defensive midfielder to help him out? Do you know what I'm saying? Like, you're asking him to do a job against the best. Do you know what I mean?
The thing is, if he's going to make it as a Premier League footballer, he's going to have to do a job against the best, isn't he? Like, and he clearly has the potential to make it as a Premier League footballer. And you can't mollycoddle him and you can't take him away forever and say, do you know what? Salah's too good for you, mate. We're going to leave you to the side today. We had this debate where people aren't happy with us playing Cresswell alongside Ollie Scarles because we shouldn't be mollycoddling him.
Yeah.
Now you play Scarles on his own on the left wing back and we go, cool, that was too much. We shouldn't have let him play against Ollie Scarles. So, like, we have to at some point go, cool, we need to give him the opportunity to prove himself against the best.
When does that affect
and let him learn?
But when does that affect us in game though for next season? Because if we're going to say that now and say, right, well, he's getting done by these players, when do you look at it and say, well, maybe he should come on against them teams when the teams are sort of tired and be a fresh pair of legs against the best teams? Like, basically what I'm trying to say is like, where do you go with him in regards of that next season?
I think he should be fighting for that shirt next season. And we obviously need another left back. Emerson, if he goes, he goes, but we'll need to get reinforcements in that area. But I think this is the perfect chance to blood him and to give him those games where you go, cool, like you give him a bit of slack. It's his rookie season. He started half a dozen Premier League games and he's playing against Mo Salah. Like, it's going to happen. So ultimately you cut him the slack this season. If it happens next season, cool. Like, again, you have to rotate and you have to go, cool, let's take him out the firing line. Let's teach him. It's all part and parcel of developing a young player. And there's no better manager that we could have at the moment than Graham Potter to develop young players because he's proven in the past that he's able to do it. So he'll know what he's doing. So I had no issue with it personally, mate. If we'd have got blown away and Ollie Scarles had been at fault for 3 or 4 goals, I probably agree with you. But he was at fault for their goal, the first goal. It was an unbelievable touch from Salah to turn him round over his shoulder. And Scarles was caught, as you rightly say, he was naive and he tried to dive in and get the ball. He'll learn from that and he'll know next time he plays against someone of Mo Salah's quality, maybe don't dive in, don't get done, and we don't concede the goal. So I think it was a valuable learning experience as much as I'm disappointed with the result, and he'll take a lot from it, I think.
Let's come to the starting lineup. Big question will be, is how does he approach this game? Because for me, he has to go 4-3-3 or 4-2-3-1. He's at home. I expect him to be the dominant side. I don't want to see 3 centre halves at the back. Like, we're not here to be possession based. We're here to go through Southampton. What do you reckon he's going to do?
Yeah, I probably agree with you. I'm one of those who generally doesn't have a problem with the 3 at the back because it's where we're going in the future. But this is the now. Like, this is the game where you've got to turn up. You've got to get creative players on the ball. You've got to get players in attacking areas because I expect us to have 60-65% of the ball at a minimum. Now, the metrics don't really matter to me, but the way that we've been playing is we don't create if we don't play 4 at the back, and we concede more if we do play 4 at the back. Yeah. Now, the lack of threat that Southampton have posed all season means we should be all right to play four at the back. You would hope, touch wood. We should be all right to play four at the back. You need to see Paqueta in those deep positions. I thought he was absolutely sensational against Liverpool. I thought him getting on the ball, he looked back to his best. He looked confident. His touches were good. He was capable of getting out of half spaces. He was press resistant, bar the corner for the goal. And some of the through balls he was playing, he was robbed of 2 assists, in my opinion. The ball for Soler and the ball for Bowen, both of them should have tucked those chances away. And because they didn't, we're not talking about the brilliant passes that Paqueta was making. So I would like to see Paqueta in those deep positions again. Ward-Prowse obviously coming up against his former club. Is he going to start? I would imagine he does. Again, he gets a lot of criticism, but I think he's not physical enough to play in that 6 role that he's been playing, and Potter probably knows that. But he's the only one out of, you look at Alvarez, Ward-Prowse, Soucek, Guido Rodriguez. He's probably the best ball player out of the 4 of them, which is why he's been playing there. So, yeah, I'm with you, mate. I expect creative and more attacking players on the pitch, and I expect us to go forward at the back and really try and win this game.
Right, Areola, I think we all agree he's in goal. Mr. Sean Paul, Wan-Bissaka. Todibo for you?
Yeah, I would say Todibo. I thought he was pretty reasonable. I haven't really got many comments on how he played last game. I thought he was reasonable, and I think we should continue with him. Yeah.
Kilman.
Yeah, Kilman. Yeah.
And then now, what do you do with Scholes? Do you play Scholes or do you play Emerson in this one?
I'll probably play him. I'll probably play Scholes. I think only Potter will know what he wants to do with him. Do you take him out the firing line, give him a week to process how the game went last time out, and bring Emerson back in, especially when we're going to need more attacking players? Emerson is obviously a lot better going forward. Yeah. But at the same time, if Emerson's leaving in the summer, just play Scholes for the rest of the season. No point giving Emerson minutes if he's not going to be here in the summer. So I'd probably go with Scholes and then leave Emerson on the bench in case the game's not going the way you want it to. So, yeah, that's why I'll go.
3 in midfield then. Who's your 3?
I think you've got to play Ward-Prowse. I think you've got to play Paqueta. I wouldn't... Do you know what? I wouldn't hate it if he goes 4-2-3-1 and Ward-Prowse and Paqueta are the deep midfielders, and then he plays a number 10 as well. I wouldn't hate it. And the thing is, I could see him doing it as well. I could see him doing something like that. I think he'll probably play a 4-3-3, like you say. We'll probably see a Soucek come back in, which again, I don't hate. I just worry if we're going to be creating lots, trying to create lots. Are we better off playing 4-2-3-1 and having a 10 in there, as opposed to playing a flat 3 and letting Soucek get further forward? I honestly don't know, and I don't mind which one. If it's me, I probably start Soucek and I tell him to get in the box alongside whoever we play up front. So
I would go with Alvarez and Ward-Prowse as the 2. That's what I'd go as. And then I'd have Lucas Paqueta as a 10, Mo on the left, Bowen on the right, Nicholas Fulkrug up front.
Yeah, I would like Paqueta in deeper positions personally. I think looking at what he did against Liverpool, the team, the individual talk that you give to Lucas Paqueta is just go and do exactly what you did. Like, you're playing against the team that are there for the taking, get in those deep positions, get on the ball, play those little 1-2s, be confident, and let him just roam around. Like, we need that kind of deep line playmaker, and I just worry about like Alvarez and Ward-Prowse. Ward-Prowse, I like Ward-Prowse. I like Alvarez, like what he brings, but I don't necessarily think, given that the midfield that we just played against Liverpool at Anfield, I don't necessarily think you need to bring Alvarez in for this game. And I'd rather see like Ward-Prowse and Paqueta rolling in the deep. Obviously, if you do play the 4-2-3-1 as well, if he does hypothetically go for this Ward-Prowse and Paqueta in the deep positions, there's room for a Guillaume starting there. There's room. And I wouldn't hate it. It's the right kind of game where you could chuck Guillaume on the left, Kudus in the middle, Bowen out on the right, and see what they can do. So maybe we will see that. I'm not sure.
Right. Let's come to it then, mate. Prediction. What you saying?
I think it's going to go very similar to the Leicester game, mate, to be honest. I think we score a couple of goals in the first half, and then I think we go, cool, let's just keep the ball. Let's get a win under our belts. Let's stop the rot. We ain't won in the last 5. We haven't won at home since February. So I'd like to see us get the win. I'd love to see us turn these lot over. We ain't turned anyone over since Ipswich, which was right at the start of the season, and they're nearly as bad as Southampton are. So, as far as I'm concerned, mate, I think it'd be 2-0 or something, and I wouldn't be too disappointed, to be honest.
Before I give you my prediction, Is the performance key in this one more than anything? Forget the result for a second. Like, obviously, because the result, I expect West Ham to win. But does the performance have to be an element of quality? Like, for instance, the second half performance against Liverpool last week was excellent. I want to see that for 80 minutes against Southampton.
Wouldn't disagree, to be honest. Yeah, I don't think I'd disagree. I don't mind the scoreline as long as we win and as long as we show that we're capable of dominating a game. Then I'm not overly fussed. We haven't dominated, again, other than that Ipswich game. I don't think we've dominated a game this season. So this is one that I expect us to, and Leicester. So if we can dominate the 3 relegated teams, then we know we're capable of doing it. We just need some better players. So yeah, I'm with you, mate. I want to see us have a lot of the ball. I want to see us create chances. I want to see us get shots off. We just don't get enough shots off, do we? Like, the amount of games we come out of and we've had 11 shots in a game and we've had like 1 decent chance the whole time and we end up drawing 1-1 or something like that. Yeah. I don't really want to see that. I'd like to see us have 20 plus shots, 60+% of the ball and really show that we're capable of beating this team and beating them well.
I'm going to go for a 3-1 win. I think West Ham get the job done. I think the second half performance you're going to see in this game for about 75% of the game. But one thing I do want to see him do is be on the front foot from the start. I don't think there's any more excuses now. Like, I expect him to go through Southampton, and if we don't go through Southampton, why are we not going through Southampton? Like, and that is the $1 million question. I think Mohamed Kudus scores. I think he's destined for a goal. And don't be surprised if Ward-Prowse scores against his former club. It's just made, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? So I'm going to go for a 3-1. I think we might concede one because at the minute we do like to concede goals. People keep telling me that he's shored the defence up. I've only kept 2 clean sheets, I think, since he's been here. So, you know, but we will see. We will see what happens. Right. I've got a few questions. Where is that question from Damien DeMarco? Let's see what Damien's got to say. Question for the two of you. Part ourselves, our stars, to frustrate a rebuild. What is more likely, getting Europe or getting sucked into a relegation scrap? What's more likely, Jay?
I mean, more likely to get sucked into a relegation scrap, to be honest. I think we've got such a big job ahead of us. I think if we got good money for Kudus and Paqueta, like, I wouldn't turn it. I wouldn't be disappointed if, you know, I'm always sad to leave like a high quality player, to see a high quality player leave. But at the same time, you get 150 mil for the 2 of them combined, and you get to go and rebuild and reinvest. I think it'd be kind of cool, but I think the scale of the job that's needed, I think it's going to take a couple of seasons at least before we're talking about top half finish.
Do you think that it's wise that we're getting rid of all these, well, a lot of our better players in a situation where it's a complete new rebuild? And then what it is, we're asking for new players to come in and basically hit the ground running straight away next season.
Yeah, mate, it's never ideal, is it? Like, you'd rather be in a position where you're consolidating around your star players. But the fact that, you know, the only star player who I would say is safe is Jarrod Bowen. He's the only one who's not going anywhere. And outside of that, we know that there's not really many in that squad that we can turn around and say, cool, that player is 100% good enough. And the performances we've seen this season are 100% good enough for you to be a West Ham player. So it's never an ideal situation, mate, which is why I think if we were to sell our star players, as per Damien's question, if we were to sell our star players and reinvest, whoever you get, you're more likely to be down the bottom end of the table than you are at the top end of the table. And that's going to be the same for the next couple of seasons, I think, which is why I'm like, look, whatever happens this season, it is what it is, because we're going to be struggling for the next couple of years, I think.
But will that be acceptable, though? Deep down.
I mean, look, but this is also part of the reason why I'm not like losing my rag, is because we know what the core problem at the club is. Like whoever you've got in charge, we could hound out Graham Potter because we don't like his style of play and we're not happy with finishing 17th. You get another manager who's on a free, which it never spells ambition. We've got a 60-something mil net spend in the last 3 years, which has been the most successful time of our modern history. It's no coincidence that this has happened. So, like, whoever you have in charge, whatever happens, there's always a problem at this club, and it makes it really, really like difficult now for me to get excited about whoever's at the helm and whoever we sign. I think I've been bitten now. I was excited at the fact that we'd been so strong for 3-4 years. Whoever you get in, they're fighting an uphill battle, mate. So
The only thing with me, right, before we come towards the end, right, with Potter is he's like a jack all night. Like we don't know, I don't know what his style of play is. I know he hasn't got his players, but next season, and this is why I do say it quite a lot on here. Like I do worry about next season quite a lot because he's going to have a major rebuild. He's getting rid of a lot of players, yeah, apparently, and if he brings new players in and they take time to gel to the team and gel to new surroundings, and if they're foreign players coming over from a different country, are they going to be able to deal with the culture of the British game or the English game? Like, there's a lot to take into account here, and we're asking that in a team that basically could finish 17th this year. Do you know what I'm saying? And I am very, very nervous. I see it I've done a video on Monday, and I said it quite clearly that I'm shitting myself on this one. I really am, because his signings have to be absolutely spot on in the summer window, sorry. And he has to start fast. He has to start fast. If he starts like Lopetegui, then the fan base will be on his case before October, and then that'd be it. It'd be just like rinse and repeat straight again.
yeah, I think I'm a bit less nervous than you. I'm still nervous for similar reasons. Like having Sullivan in charge of transfers is, oh god, you know that there's a lot of scope for things to go wrong pretty quickly. But Potter's tried to implement his style. He's obviously seen, look, I need better players in midfield. He needs another defender. He needs another striker. Like we know what we need in the summer. I think there have been some promising signs, which is why I look at this Liverpool game just gone and I go, cool. Like we absorbed the pain that we had to absorb in the first half. We put in a brilliant performance in the second half. And this is all with a squad that was built by David Moyes, then compounded by some poor signings from Lopetegui. And we haven't given Potter the chance to actually get the players in that he wants yet. And having Carl McCauley alongside him to try and get those players, they'll have already identified, I think, a good handful of players that they want. And it's just, can Sullivan actually go and get those players? If we don't sign players quickly, then I'll start to get more nervous, because we need a full preseason and we need Potter to have the chance to work with the players that he wants to then get his philosophy across. So I think if we do get those players in early, I don't think we'll see the same kind of start as Lopetegui, where it looked really abject really quickly. I can see some better performances and maybe a few more points. We'll see.
I don't know. On this one, I look at him and I think he could have done better since he's been here. That's the only thing I will say. Like he hasn't really shown to me anything other than inconsistency, if I'm being real. Do you know what I'm saying? And that's a major thing. And on Saturday's game against Southampton, that is where I'm going to know what this geezer's all about. Because if he sets up and we only scrape a 1-0 win against a poor side in the league, then I am fearful for next year. Like, because we're asking this geezer to turn us from being a side which, deep down, do I think West Ham's a shit side? No, I don't. I think we've got some good players. And I think it proved it in the second half against Liverpool, because you can't go from being shit to then all of a sudden just going straight through Liverpool at will. Do you know what I mean? So that's where I'm a bit nervous almost.
I think I try and cut Potter a bit of slack in that respect. He's not had a fit striker the whole time he's been here. Fulker got injured within like 20 minutes of Potter's first game, and we still put in a good performance. Like, he's not had the tools that he needs to get his job done. So you look at that and you look at some of the things that we've managed to do. We managed to go and win away at Arsenal with no strikers. Like, we put in a brilliant performance there. We put in a really good performance away at Anfield. Two places that under the previous regime we would have gone and we would have held 4 or 5. Like let's face facts there. Like, we held 5 against Liverpool twice under Julian Lopetegui. There is nothing in my mind that thinks that anything else would have happened other than holding 5 again. And I know that's like me clutching at straws, but I'm not saying I'm happy with it. I'm saying that that's the reason I'm cutting Potter a bit of slack. Give him the tools that he needs to try and do the job that he wants, and then judge him. And if 6 games in, we're seeing the same things as Lopetegui, I'll be like, yeah, fair enough. But we're kind of judging the man doing a job without the right tools at his disposal, which I think, we have to give him a little bit of slack in that respect.
I don't need you to disagree on this one. Really,
yeah, I know.
It's just because for me, I just look at it and I just feel like he has got good players there. Wan-Bissaka's a good player. Like, Kilman's not a mug. He's proven Premier League player. Bowen's good. Kudus has lost his way, but I don't. When people say about getting Kudus out the door, I don't think Kudus is a shit player. I just think he's lost his way, lost his confidence. And I've seen like glimpses of West Ham under him, and all I've seen is bits. It's like a flashlight in the middle of a fucking tunnel coming on and off, right,
Yeah.
from time to time, and you can only see it coming on. Like you can see where you're going, and it come on from time to time, and that's exactly how Potter plays to a point.
But that's the reason, in my opinion. Sorry, to cut you off. But what Richard said, like there's a lot of these players that aren't good enough for the Premier League, and in some games, those players you've mentioned will win you a game. But having 5 good players out of 11 is not enough to be consistently good in the Premier League, which I think is why we've seen this patchy form from West Ham, which is why when we've played against the relegated sides, we beat Leicester 2-0. We'll probably beat, which is why I think we'll do the same against Southampton. Not because we're a top quality team, but because we've got some good players that are capable of winning you some games. But under David Moyes, we had really consistent players. We had a really well-rounded squad. Moyes found his best team and he just stuck with it. And they knew the instructions, they knew the style of play, and they executed it. It wasn't because we had like 11 world-class players. It's because we had 11 good players who knew exactly what they needed to do. So I think the players we've got will probably win this game on Saturday. Consolidate it with some players that Potter actually wants. It probably, people ain't going to want to hear this, but it's probably going to take 2 years for him to build the right squad that he wants, because we tried to do it like in one go in the summer just gone. How badly did that go for us?
So what's the stat? So what are you expecting next season with him then?
Oh, mate, it totally depends on who we signed, doesn't it? Like I expect us to be more creative going forward. I definitely think, and again, I know you don't accept the fact that we've shored the defense up, but we have shored the defense up a lot better than we were. I'm not saying, like, I agree with you, we've only kept 2 clean sheets since he's been there, but we ain't holding 4s and 5s, which we were doing regularly under Lopetegui. So he's done something with the tools at his disposal. You add a left wing back and you add another centre back to that. I expect us to be even better defensively. Add a couple more creative players. I expect us to score more goals, and you'll see us start moving in the right direction. I think if we don't make those signings, and if we're not happy with, like, if we sign a crap centre back and we sign nobody creative, I think we're gonna have more of the same problems. And I still don't think it'll be Potter's fault necessarily.
I think I can understand what you're saying. I can, but on the goal side of it, and I've had this debate with a few people. It's okay shoring the sort of goals up. He has done that, but it does help when you're putting 5 at the back and you're putting like a 3 in front of it, and you're setting up in a low block, so to speak, to watch other teams. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I do agree with you also that the attack is light, and that's the major with me. That our attacking threat is, if you take Jared Bowen out of the game, we've got no goals. Like, who's scoring the goals for us? And we need to. One thing I do need to see from now to the end of the season is Nicholas Fulkrug in this side, and see if he's worth keeping for next season. Do you know what I'm saying? Because some people say get rid of him, some people say keep him. You got to look at him from now to the end of the season and assess him on that. As I say, when you're doing a major rebuild, and I've seen it so many times over the years where you have like you bring 5, 6, 7, 8 players in, and it goes the wrong way, because if 3 or 4 of them don't work out, then you're in the shit basically. And that's where I look at it, and I think Potter should have done better with some of the players that he's got. Like Mohamed Kudus should be better than what he is. Currently right now, he looks like a man who's lost, if I'm being honest. And I look at other players in the side, I don't really think who he's sort of developed. I don't look at it and go, like, who's Graham Potter developed since he's been there? Like, Scholes was already in the door through Julian Lopetegui. He come on as a sub at Bournemouth on the 16th of December. And I know that because it was my birthday and I watched the game and I remember him coming on. Yeah. So it's not like he's made Scholes into like a unbelievable player, because Scholes was already in the door through Lopetegui. So when I look at it, I don't really see how Potter's made players better. Has he made a structure at West Ham? Yeah, I would agree with everyone on that. He's come in and he's made us. He's built a sort of a structure to say, like, this is what you got to do. This is the game plan, etc. But I don't know. On this one, I'm worried about next season. I've seen this too many times over the years. I really am. And when you have a lot of players coming through the door, especially some of these foreign players who might be coming over who don't know the Premier League, we've got to hope that they all kick into gear at the same time. They really do.
I would tentatively suggest that defensively he has improved. He's improved. Like Todibo looks a much better player. I know we've not seen a huge amount of him, but he looks a lot more assured. He looks a lot happier to play for the club, which is a massive factor in how someone's going to actually play for the club. I actually think he has done wonders with Skulls. Like Skulls don't like let's get facts straight here on Skulls, right? Because I agree, Lopetegui gave him his like Premier League debut, whatever. He did the same for Orford. He did that because he was under so much pressure that he knew he was going to lose his job because we were shit and we weren't playing any youngsters. And it's like, Julian, you've got to give us something. And he's probably gone, I don't think I can make this group of players much better. Let's give them something and let's start playing some younger players when we're instead of playing like rotating the same old like tired lineups and playing like Guido Rodriguez and stuff like that. He had to bring in some youngsters. And I actually think the job that what Graham Potter has done with Ollie Skulls has been brilliant so far. And I like people are already calling for him to be loaned out to a championship club next season. And I'm like, just chill. Just relax. He's a 19-year-old kid in his rookie season.
Yeah,
he's not. Look, before you say that, he's not Premier League standard yet. But he's 19. Right. He's started like 6 games for West Ham United. He will keep getting better. There's no point us loaning a geezer out to the Championship because he got roasted by Mo Salah for 20 minutes. Most left backs in the world would get roasted by Mo Salah.
I agree.
So I say give him some time, and I actually think what he's done with him has been really good. Look at Luis Guilherme. Couldn't get a kick under Lopetegui. Couldn't get near the lineup. Comes in and he's started to develop him. I'm not saying he's pulling up trees, but what I'm saying is every time he comes on now, he looks more confident. He looks more comfortable. There is clearly a player in there. He's very raw. He's got a lot of developing to do, but he weren't going to do that sitting on the bench and not playing for the 21s. So under Potter, he's actually trying to develop him. So there are some signs about what he's capable of doing. He just needs more time to do it, mate.
What you say about Skulls, I agree with you, but then on the other side of it, I don't. I look at it and I think I look at it and I think with Skulls, he's a young lad, and when you say he's 19, that's where my argument was last week when you're putting him up against Mo and literally letting him get destroyed by Mo Salah. And that's where the balance has to be right with him. Like next season, should Skulls be our first choice left back in that position? I don't think he should be, but I don't think he should be loaned out either. Right? That's not me being rude to the kid. And listen, I like the kid. I think the kid's a very good player. I think he's going to be a really great player for West Ham. But is he ready? Is he ready right now to come in and do a 38-game season against some of the best wingers on the planet? I don't think he is. And
I would agree. Yeah.
So
I would,
go on, Jay.
I would agree, and like, I don't necessarily think he's ready to play a 38-game season. The great thing is he's got another 15 years of playing football ahead of him, and he's going to be playing like in and around the top level. Like he looks so good when he's comfortable and he's confident. That game against Liverpool was never going to play into his hands. He had to man mark probably the best, most informed winger in the world at the moment. Yeah. And it was always going to be difficult for him. And that 45 minutes, he's going to go away. Potter is really, really good. You can see at doing analysis with players. And I liken it to that Guilherme 45-minute disaster class that he had. He then took him out the firing line, didn't play him for a couple of weeks, started gradually introducing him. And the kid looked like a man possessed, didn't he? And granted, he didn't do anything crazy, but we went from 45 minutes of ghost performance to 15 minutes here and there of him coming on and going, do you know what? Give me the ball and I'll try and make something happen. And he was doing it like he'd been playing in the Premier League for years. And that's what we want to see. We want to see progress from these players. So when we were talking about the lineup that we want to see for Saturday's game, I've got no issue if he takes Skulls out. I wouldn't personally, but if he takes him out the firing line and then brings him on with 20 minutes to go, the same way as he did with Guilherme, or even just leaves him out for this week and brings him back the following week, I've got no problem, mate, because this isn't going to be linear. This isn't going to be a cool, just keep playing him and get better and better and better and better. Every player has a bad game from now and then. Skulls is going to have the odd bad game here and there. That's fine. But the difference is he's so early in his career that when he has a bad game, he learns and he gets better. It's as simple as that. So I'm excited to see what he can do. And I hope he starts and I hope he has a really good game. So, but let's see.
Yeah. Anything else you want to add, Jay? Anything on your mind?
Let's enjoy some beers in the sunshine on Saturday. I'm looking forward to it. Hopefully the DJs play some more reggae at the Heineken bar before the game. Always makes me laugh. I'm just hoping for a nice day out, bit of sunshine, long weekends. Happy days, and hopefully 3 points from West Ham. Let's see.
Yeah. Me and Jay do like to agree to disagree on stuff, but on some things we do have to agree to disagree on it. I'm looking forward to it on Saturday because I expect West Ham to win. Yeah, and if West Ham don't win, I ain't going to be best pleased at the end of the day. Listen, at the end of the day with Potter, I want him to succeed at West Ham. This is nothing against the geezer. I want him to do well for us because we've had some shit and we need to be better than what we are. But you've also got to call out stuff and all. And I hate this sort of fake positivity that I keep seeing from people saying, yeah, you know what, it's going to be this, it's going to be that. And then I look at it and I go, well, it ain't good at the minute, right? And you've got to call out when it ain't right. Do you know what I'm saying? And if there is moments in games like it was against Liverpool where the first half we was sitting there not really doing much and we was trying to contain Liverpool, to then the second half against Liverpool going straight for them at will, looking like a completely different side, looking like the team that we once were many years ago. I'm going to ask why is that happening? And that is the question of why is that happening and why are we not like that consistently and why we only like that in a 45-minute game, right? One thing with this club that I've noticed this season is we're definitely a second half side. We're definitely not a first half side. And it's over the last sort of 2 games I've noticed it. Bournemouth, second half, come out, completely different side. Against Liverpool, second half, completely different side. Do you know what I'm saying? And that's one thing that needs to be addressed in the summer for next season because we can't be a second half side because you ain't gonna go nowhere just being a 45-minute team in the Premier League. I will say that. Smash a like on the video, subscribe to E20 Zone TV, hit notification bell and all of that malarkey. Me and Jay will see you again very soon. I will be back on Saturday after full player ratings, the full shebang. But from me to you, have a good Easter, all the best. Come on, you irons.